Hey everybody, welcome to my channel and my first video on Builderment, which I've been wanting to make a video on for a while now. But with all that said, hit that like button and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the video. Let's go. So first, there are some things you have to know before you can really understand what's happening. Those things being capitalism, expansion, and efficiency. So first things first, you have to build the lab. This is where all your resources will be going throughout the game. And I did not know this at the time, but it's important to remember that you can only have a max of 3 labs, no more. But I would only end up figuring that out a little bit later, and for the time being it wasn't too important. So after I get the lab down, the game goes ahead and tells me that I need to place down an extractor on the trees. As you can see I'm doing right now, I'm making a belt to the lab so I can take the wood that gets extracted and place it into the lab so that I can start researching wooden planks. And I figure we have a bit of time right now, so I should explain a little bit more about the end goal of this game. So, in the research tree, we are trying to get the Earth portals to officially beat the game and start collecting Earth tokens. Now, if I wasn't too lazy, there should be some footage of the tech tree going across the screen right now. And as you can see, the very last one is the Earth portal. And right now I'm just increasing the amount of wood I'm producing, as you can see, so I can unlock some more research. The next thing is wooden planks, which needs 10 logs, so we're just gonna go and store those up real quick. And with those all stored, we go ahead and research wooden planks, so we can start producing those. And so I start setting up the building required to refine wood into planks. This is the workshop, a building that will be used throughout the entire game, just like most other refining buildings. Now at this point I start going through a little bit more of the tech tree just to see what there kind of is, see if there's any more belts or transport things. From what I could tell, there is a few things, but not a lot, so now I'm just going ahead and I'm expanding the wood a little bit more. And now that I've gone ahead and done that, I've got another workshop set up. I finally get enough planks in to research wooden frames, so I go ahead and throw down another workshop right onto the belt so I can start producing wood frames, which take 4 wood planks. That's why I have 2 workshops on it. And then I go ahead, I look through the tech tree one more time, see how many wood frames I'm going to need to unlock the furnace. And now I'm just kind of waiting here for a little bit, letting the boxes pour in, but eventually I do get enough, and I go ahead and I research the furnaces. Which then I look at the next recipe, it tells me I need 25 of copper bars and iron bar, so I go ahead and start setting that up. So I find a little copper patch, I get all the miners set up on it, I get the furnace down, and I have copper ingots being produced, and I go ahead and pull a belt all the way over to the lab, just like the wood. And now while I'm doing this, I would like to kind of explain how the resources in this game work a little bit more. They spawn in random patches around your map, pretty much. There's a few different resources. Of course, there is wood, there's iron, there's copper, there's wolframite, which we'll get into a good bit later down the road because it is a more advanced material. And then there's also uranium, which is also a much more advanced material. But besides that, I go ahead and get both iron and copper set up. As you can see, for the iron setup right here, I just have them going directly into furnaces, since I noticed that the miners should produce enough to pretty much always feed the furnace. Every, I think, 2 seconds a bar should be produced, somewhere around that, so it's just more efficient to do it that way. And I go ahead, look in the tree, and now I'm just gonna let the bars kind of flow in until I get enough. Thankfully that doesn't take too long, so we go ahead and research metal working. That unlocks copper wire and iron gears, so the next step is to go ahead and get that all set up so we can start researching advanced belts, which is something that I'd seen earlier. It should greatly help with expansion. So as you can see, I go ahead, I start placing some more workshops onto the belt. The copper one will start to make copper wire, and the iron one will start to make iron gears. The copper wire takes 3 copper ingots, while the iron gears only take 2, so it's a little bit more expensive for the copper, but all in all it's still not that bad. And you can see here I did the copper before I did the iron, so I was still just putting everything onto one belt, but I had one extra little ore spot, so I just go ahead and get a miner mining directly into that. And then just a little while later, after waiting a bit, we go ahead and get the iron gears, and we research advanced belts and magnets as well. So we have the copper wire. Now the advanced belts lets you make splitter belts and underground belts. As for the electromagnets, those are a little bit more costly. It takes both iron and copper wire to make electromagnets. But with the new underground belts and splitter belts, we'll be able to increase our production quite a lot, which you'll see me start to do right about now. And we'll just go ahead and montage through fixing all this up and increasing production and everything. And you'll see me set up copper wire and iron gears, and this machine shop is where we will make the electromagnets with both iron and copper wire. And now I did cut this part out, but I went ahead and increased our iron production up there, as you could see. So we have just about everything set up now, copper wire, iron, all of that. So we're pretty much set. We're just waiting for the next recipe to unlock. We did manage to put in enough boxes to go ahead and get the extractor upgrade, so we can use the coins we get to increase the mining speed of our extractors. But besides that, we're just gonna go ahead and wait until we get enough electromagnets to unlock metal frames. Now at this point, since I don't really have much else to do besides really wait for the electromagnets to go ahead and pour in, I go ahead and start expanding the copper mine with these little pieces that are cut off to the sides. And then I go ahead and get a notification that I have enough copper wire for the workshop upgrade, so I go ahead and get that, as well as the conveyor belt speed upgrade. Those go for, you're going to be doing those pretty much the entire game really, for your conveyors to be moved faster, since it's the only conveyor you'll ever get. And it takes more and more iron gears for each upgrade, but they are really important. Now I am seeing a little bit of bottleneck in my production over here, but I just go ahead and ignore it for the time being because I'm a bit of a dingus. But I go ahead, and this is where I actually look more in depth. I look at the output and input of the furnace. I look at the output of the miners. I also was checking the price of the upgrade right there. It is kind of pricey right now. As you can see in the top left corner, I don't have a whole lot of money. So we're going to be holding off on upgrades until we have more money. So for now, I just go ahead and start setting up what we'll need to start making the metal frames, which is going to be wood frames. You can see right here, I'm looking at the recipe a little more. So I have the little factory building down here. I'm going to start feeding a line of these iron bars into another 3x3 setup to start producing iron plates. And while I set this up, I'll go ahead and explain why I'm using this setup. I have played a little bit before this, and I had seen that early game this was one of the better setups that I could find, really. So I'm going ahead and using this 3x3 setup on one line right here to get everything really going for the start of the factory. Of course, later down the line we'll be able to unlock the mechanical arms and whatnot, so this will generally be just pretty temporary until we unlock those arms. But I go ahead and I start feeding the plates into the machine shop and producing those metal frames, which they do take a while to get over there, so I'll probably speed this up a little bit. And now while this happens, I'd like to explain a little bit more about what I'm going to be doing on this channel. This is my first actual attempt at not only editing but really YouTube in general, and I'm pretty much just going to be posting videos about games I like, what I'm doing, stuff like that. No vlogs or anything, games of course. So the first few videos that come out after this one will probably follow along the same lines of Builderment gameplay videos. I have been quite enjoying this game lately, so I am going to make a full playthrough of it until we get all the way to the Earth teleporter. After that, I'll probably be away for some time, really figuring out what I want to post next. I want to make the best content I possibly can, just for the hell of it, really. Besides that, I'm going to try to post semi-regularly. I still have school and everything, so it's not going to become an every single week type of thing. But since I'm doing this more as a passion project more than anything, I'll just kind of post whenever I can. So far I've been enjoying my first time really editing, even if it is on a mobile device. That's the next thing. I would be asking y'all to cut me a little slack, please. This is my first video, like I mentioned before, first time editing. So if you give me a little grace for these first few videos, that'd be very nice. Anyways, with all that said, back to the game. Now, after unlocking the metal frames and starting those crafting, the next thing to unlock is silicone, which I need to start mining stone and bring that to the lab to do. So I'm setting up a little mining operation right here, right next to the copper. I got pretty lucky with where the stone was placed. I'm going to bring this all back to the lab through one of the 4 entrances so I can start unlocking the silicone recipe. And we're just going ahead and getting all this stone onto one belt per usual, which after I get all the miners set up and everything, I'll go ahead and I'll pull that belt into the lab. Now with this bit of time we have with me in the background setting everything up, I'll once again explain a little bit more about what I'm going to be doing after this. There are games that I'm also going to be playing that aren't factory based, such as Mindustry, Subnautica, Stardew Valley, games along those lines, because those are also games I've been wanting to not only check out but also make videos on. And maybe for longer playthroughs such as Subnautica or Stardew Valley, I won't end up doing a voiceover. I'll end up doing active voice during gameplay. I'm only doing voiceover currently since that just felt more appropriate for a game like this, since I'll be focusing a lot more and I won't be talking as much. So this was just an easier option for a game like Builderment. In the future, once I have some more resources, I would like to branch out to PC games such as Factorio, Subnautica Below Zero, Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, and Doom the Dark Ages. So really a wide spectrum of games I'll hopefully eventually be posting on this channel. But for the current time being, I'm going to be sticking to mobile games and whatnot, and I hope you'll stay along for the ride. That said, we're pretty much done with all the stone stuff over here. We're just waiting for enough to pour in to unlock the silicone recipe, which should be done just about any second now. Yeah, there it is. And you'll see me unlocking the recipe here in the background in just a little bit. But with all that said, that brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.